That's as quiet as a mouse. What a good runner that. As quiet as a mouse, that Cortina. Can you hear it? It purrs like a kitten. I wonder what's under the bonnet. Well, it's a 1300 or 1600. We'd have to have a look, wouldn't we? Oh, hang on. What's this? What's this? No wonder it's as quiet as a mouse.
I'm Mk3 from Cortina City. This is episode 39. Time to do limbo, lad. Folks, we're doing the wax oiling. I knew there was something to do. Come down here and have a little look. I've lost my hat, but don't worry, we'll get it back. Wax oil goes on. Come down and don't stay up by it. Don't stay stuck to the roof. Come down here. Look at the wax oil. I'm covered in it as well. Here we go. Let's have a look. Mask is on. Doors were open, doors are now shut for filming. Come down, I'll show you the gun. A summer blue bottle bounces aimlessly around the windowsill as summer approaches. Here's the gun. Pressurised vessel. Discussed earlier but not demoed. Discussed in an earlier clip that we were going to be doing this. So really you can see how we do it. Might be able to do a live demo if we get you on the tripod, but look at the lance and how it goes in places like this. Okay. Hold on, the bottle's trying to tip. Okay. And then you'll see it that it starts to come out of every seam, and that's what we're looking for there. This stuff's quite thin. This is the ML spec, which is designed to go between tight gaps like this. Okay, there's a thicker version which you'd put underneath and in more exposed places. This is for the hidden stuff. So all our tight seals, tight seam gaps get the ML, and then anything that's a bit heavier exposed, possibly underneath the arches and stuff like that, we go for, I think it's for the 126. I'll go and look at the tin to give you the correct name. But nozzle goes in wherever we want. Look, I could probably show you something while we film without getting the tripod. Here you go. We could blast inside this jacking point. Watch. Away we go. This jacking point would be better with the thicker stuff. I'm just using that as a demo, but you'll see that it fans out in like a very fine mist, which is why the mask has to be on, and you'll see it coming out of places you didn't even know existed. Like I've seen it coming out here. I've been doing the scuttle up between there, and I even did along the roof using towels, laying towels down, because you will get drips. Now you start to get the drips, and this is where the towels come in. Look, because we've been doing underneath the engine bay front, I'll show you where it looks messy, but you wipe down where you don't want it. Okay, so we're going down that troublesome lower valance area that tends to rust, up along that front valance as well, and then we wipe down, we get the towels out. It does wipe off very easily, it doesn't damage your paint of course. Again, round this side, look how it blasts out. We've gone underneath here. This will be backed up with the heavier duty stuff inside there, but for all the bead pillars, stuff like that, you can see it seeping out there a little bit along the roof and down, and certainly for the sills themselves. But we're going to inject it in the sills at that end. There's a bung plug I've fitted, and you push the rod all the way in and draw out that way, and we'll see it coming out the sills. But that's a later date. I needed to do this now, so I can get the heater box in. I needed to do the roof inside because the roof lining's going on soon. We've managed to get a slot for that. So rather than get the roof lining on and not put the wax oil on. So it does spatter a little bit, and yes, I've got the back seats in. I've had a couple of spatters, I've wiped down, it's not too bad. So you just got to be careful with it, but that's the gun, that's how it works. Later on in the project, we'll probably show you it getting applied to the sills. Okay, but that's how it worked. I can put you on the jobby if you want. I'll give you a quick blast inside one of the chassis legs. Let's do that. Okay, into that chassis leg we go. In I go. Sneak under for you. Are you there? I think you are. Okay. That's it. That's all you do. Job done. End off. And that is it. You can go down the chassis leg if you want. And that is it. We are done. Same on the other side. Then wipe back. You're good to go. Even under the battery tray we can get a little bit under. Just to help it. Okay, I've got a longer lance on. You've probably seen this if you've been following the series of vids. Swampy, the other GXL, and Ruby, the other GXL, get this treatment. A long lance, here's the nozzle. A 360 fan out nozzle, so it creates a complete circular fan. And we go all the way to the front, through this inspection bunk, conveniently located. Have we tied a knot in it? Hey, we tied a knot in it. You Dumbo. Right, here we go. In and pushed it front. It's easy. It's so easy. I think that's the front. We should really measure it so we know we're definitely... We should really measure that. We definitely know at the front, but let's have a look. My hands on that. Yeah, that's the front. So, by applying the trigger, you might see some action up that end, possibly. Hit it! Yeah, there you go. We're straight out there through the first drain hole. So what we do, we just keep the trigger on and I just draw the lance back, assuming there's enough wax in there, which there is. See, quite a lot dripping out of that one because it's very thin, this stuff. Okay, so that's what it's designed to do. If I put you on the tripod, this may work. Let's see what angle we can get you. It's going to creak a little bit. Can you withstand that noise just for a sec, folks? I'll get you in, don't you worry. Down and personal. Squeaky on the jobby, but the jobby's going to help you to stay on target. Okay, look, there's the gun into my hand, pulling the trigger now. Anybody, is there anybody out there? Right. Pull and squeeze. And slowly draw back. And that's it. Now here's a very important job that has to be done, and that's switching over to the Dinitrol. Oh, I found the name of it. Let's go and get that name so you know, because you're only going to be asking me. 3125HS Dinitrol. There you go. The 3125. That's designed for more. Goes on more like a paint. It doesn't creep into the crevices quite as good, but it will do if it's warm enough. But we blast it up there, look. Right up into them scuttles we go. Right in, and this side as well. And now we can close the window wiper mechanism and all that. Now it's very important to fit new seals on the back of these plates here. I've done new foam seals, as I have done on here, all with new foam, because that plate and that wiper motor and the heater, and you'll see we've sealed the heater as well, all those seals create fume free area and only let the air, fresh air in, or the air to be enter the cabin air, only through the scuttle and not through this area, which would, without those seals, draw in engine fumes. Okay, that's really important if you're building your car, you want it tip top. And also sound will get through there too. So really, it's really important, really, to put new seals on. So I put quite thick foam seal on here, and those bolts drew it in nicely. I could hear it compressing. I did that after I'd waxawed the hell out of it. The waxall's gone everywhere. So the 3125S is, look how it goes on. See? Now you may say, what you doing wrecking your lovely engine bay? It just wipes off with terps. Anything that is safe to use as a degreaser on 2-pack paint, you can use and just wipe it down. So we'll just wipe that down, don't worry about it. It's hard, if you want to get it in, I'd rather have loads of it blasted in and some spattering on the engine bay which I can wipe than it rust. So there you go. So I've done the same on here. Look at the fronts. In we go. Gungy in, look at that. See how that's coated. Right in you go. Right in. It's going to last forever. It's definitely going to last forever. Yes, even Rod agrees. It's going to last forever. Okay, so we're coated. I should be able to see in there now. So that's how it goes. And what I want to do with this one is put the lance in as well. I only use the spray bar. You'll see that it hasn't hit the top. That's because we've not got the 360 one. So we push the 360 one in and draw out. That gets the top of the metal as well. I just put in with a lance. I was using the last bit up in the tub because I'd used it for the bulkhead before I switched back to the ML spec one for the rest of the crevice work that we're going to be doing on the rear inner valance. So this heater box is ready to put back on. All airtight should be. I've made all the foam pad seals myself. Now you can get them new old stock. Well, not new old stock, but repros. But look at the repros you get off eBay. They're too thin. That just won't seal. No good. So I've made my own. These will be fine. I'm going to fit the heater box now. The wiper motor, I'll check. If you put your wiper motor back in, check, because you can have the cam 180 degree out and it'll park with the wipers up and not the wipers down. If that happens, you just turn your cam bar, leave the motor alone and just turn the cam bar, then rebolt it back on. It's a slot and it can go 180 out. So we were 180 out, so that's now correct. Heater box on. A seal goes all the way down there, picking up all the way down there. Look, sorry for the fast camera movement then. Let's get that fitted and bolted up. Just got to find the rest of the bolts. I want them all to match, of course, or Cider Andy will go crazy if they don't match. And one for Cider Andy. Okay. Okay, we've done the ML in the sills. It's gone nicely into all the seams of the sills because the ML creeps in. Now we've heated up the 3125 HS Dinitrol so it's nice and warm. So we're just placing it into the pressure vessel. You can see you've got to heat this stuff up to get it to flow. So I use the hot air gun on it. That gets it like that. We're now going to apply that to the sills. Got about half a container's worth there, half a vessel. That's going to now go on the sills after the ML's gone in. Let's lock and load. Okay, are you ready? Everything with the vessel's ready. Pressurized. I made the extension tube using some John Guest Blue water tube. So you've already seen the ML go in this side, but again, this time with the thicker, hold on, with the thicker 3125, but heated up. That's right to the end, and then all you got to do is hit it. Wipe that down. That's your nozzle. That's your nozzle. So that gives you a complete circle there, a jet out that way. So as I'm drawing it through the sill there, you're getting a big fan, so the entire box section of the sill gets covered with the Dinitrol. Rust.co.uk also do a very good rust proofing kit. It's just that we had the Dinitrol in stock, but if we run out we'll be reordering from Rust.co.uk. Their system's on a par with Dinitrol. I think it's a little bit cheaper. Don't get me wrong, Dinitrol's good. They're both good. So you got two places to get them from. Frost do it for Dinitrol, and Rust.co.uk do it for their system. Okay, so there's two. Regarding the codes for Rustbuster, I'm not sure the code. You'd have to look on their site, rust.co.uk, and you'll see it. There'll be one that creeps into the joins between the panel gaps. Put that in first, and then this one, similar to the Dinitrol, will be a thicker one. That goes in second. Also, the 3125, if it's an exposure, because it goes on a bit like paint, just sort of, and then it dries like a film. So that's what I've done under the scuttle for the front, where those panels were closed up. I'll show you in a minute that we've closed the panels up now, put the heater box in proper. All behind there got blitzed, and as I said, just some. We'll find out what's in what chemical does not affect our 2-pack paint. I think turpentine's alright, and I think meths is okay, but I'm going to check before I clean it and wipe it back down. If I recall, on my other cars I use terps, but someone's going to write in and say that's no good for your paint. We need to find something that takes it off. It doesn't attack the paint, by the way, but the thicker stuff is a little bit harder to wipe down than the ML spec, the cavity creeping one. That side's finished now. We can put the bung back in to the end of the sill here, which we fitted when we built the car, and we indeed wipe up any spills, because inevitably it's going to drip out through your drain holes in your sills if you've got them, and it's going to land on the floor, which is what it's done. We're out of 3125, we've only enough to do the other sill on that side, and I'm just going to wipe down. The reason that I'm at this stage of rust proofing now is simply you can get in before the axle goes on, all in these inner valance areas. There's a lot of inner valance areas here, which have also got the inspection bungs fitted. If you haven't got inspection bungs on yours, if you've had repairs and they've been plated over, or they're not there for any reason, you can go into your boot and down. Or you can go on your back inner valance and get round on that back inner valance where your reg plate is. Get in there, especially with the thinner treatment first. Let it get right in, let it run out, wipe down, then put your other stuff in after. And that's it. So we're going to do the other side of the sill. Won't film that, it's exactly the same as this. When you're using the ML stuff, you do get a very fine mist, hence the mask. It's not as bad with the 3125. It doesn't go airborne as easy, but you do have to warm it up, like I said. So that's it. I don't think there's anything else there, except to say that don't buy anything except this, because this gives you the proper. You won't get the same coverage with a non-pressurised system. Although if you can't get one of these, anything's better than nothing, and yeah, okay, use the pump system or your Schutz gun system, but the Schutz gun tends to siphon it out. I think it's Venturi effect or whatever, as the air passes over the top. Through here it creates a vacuum and draws the Schutz up that way, whereas this one puts the pressure into here, then pushes it up. You just basically, you can get a long tube run like this. You'll not get that length of run with a Schutz. It won't push down this tube long enough, so that's why I use this. And also this can get into the back before we fit the bumper iron on. We go in and draw back out again that way, and similarly at the front, before we put the bumpers on, push as far as we can go in. You'll probably get it all the way into the chassis and go down towards the floor with this, because you can fish it, then just slowly draw back. Don't apply it, the trigger, till you've got all the way to the end, and then draw back, otherwise you're pushing against yourself. So it's a great idea. This gun was 75 quid, and I think it was from Frost, but they're out there, they're on eBay. It says on it power products wax inject kit, power products, Sealy, oh it's a Sealy one, Sealy power products, so Sealy tools, but rust.co.uk, again I know, keep plugging them, but they've been good to us over the years. They've got them on the site and they're also on eBay, so look out for these. As I said, I paid 75 for mine. You tend not to have to clean them down really. You would think that you'd have to clean this down, but once I resurrected this, it's been 2 years in storage. I think I blew air through it, but I didn't paraffin it out. Really, I should have paraffined this out before I put it away. I didn't. It had old wax oil in it. I was lucky that it didn't dry up. Hot air gun on it, loosened it, then I blew it out with the air, and it went. But it's best paraffin down before you finish, or put it back into storage. So really, that's a little talk through with the waxing situation. I'd advise doing it outside, or get close to your roller shutter door or your barn doors as you can, because they do advise it in a ventilated area. Don't do it in an enclosed area. I've got the side windows open and the back. It's been blowing through. It's been quite breezy today on Sunday, bank holiday weekend. We're just halfway through May, coming up soon. I think about the 10th today, is it? 11th? And the weather's gone a bit cooler and a bit breezier, so luckily it's blowing everything through there. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do next, because I'm at that position here now. Let's have a look where we are. Bramble ramble, bing bing. We're at the position where we've done a lot of the hard jobs, and I'm looking forward to cruising by simply putting on, for example, the petrol tank and the axle, things that are just Meccano style, as opposed to having to go through all the thought process of that wiring harness and the logistics, or not logistics really, just the simple awkwardness of fitting the dashboard and checking all those electrical systems and hooking everything up. That's been a challenge, and the carpet and the seats and the door cards, of course. So episode 38 saw quite a bit of action there, if indeed we are still maybe in episode 38, I'm not sure. It's easy to lose track. I said this before, when you've got a lot of footage down and you've not gone to YouTube to upload, you've got it in the can, if you will, you tend to lose roughly where you are in terms of the episode numbers. Okay, so we could be in 39. I'm going to think of something else to do. Well, I'm going to go and mop up some of the spills, and I'm going to do the other side. Then we'll call that a day for the waxing for now. Any questions on the waxing, give us a call. A message on YouTube. I'll see if I can get back to you. So, or Patreon, of course. All the Mark III Owners Club as well. You can join that, because there's a good forum on there. I'm often on there. Sometimes I won't be on for a few weeks, but Mark III Club forum's good. If you've got a Mark III Cortina and you're not in the club, you need to get in, because it's bargain. If not for the magazine and the forum alone, then mind that, but you get any discount tickets, all sorts of stuff. If you've not got a Mark III, then you're just following the project, then it's Patreon for you. Okay, let's get on with something. I've gone on enough. That was the ramble. Catch you in a sec. Who knows what I'm going to be doing next? Time for root beer though. Root beer and an Eccles cake, but not dunked in it. I've found something to do. I've cut these rubber strips. I'd already ordered this stuff off eBay well in advance, and it's for the petrol tank straps, which I'm now getting ready. These are new ones and have been powder coated. There's the tank there, ready to go on. So it has these little buffer strips so when the straps underneath the tank doesn't rub through it. So we cut them because the straps don't come with the rubber strips. So we cut them, apply those. I'm going to go under and hook the tank in. Tank clips in, tank straps clip into the back inner valance on these releases. Idea being, I think if you have a rear end collision, the tank is meant to sort of drop out of the way and slide away under the car and not contract and explode under pressure. I think they were designed to take a rear end, and I think some way of detaching the tank and letting it drop out of the way so it doesn't reduces the risk of a fireball, I think. Let me know your opinions on that, but I think these tanks were designed to fall down on impact at the rear. Anyway, we'll get underneath and we'll get cooking. We'll get this going. Peel the rest of these off now. I've just cut the strips, ready to go. Nicely apply those to these, so keeping the detail all the way with this job. I'll see you in a sec under the car. It's time to do limbo. I'm going to film this. I'm going to put you on YouTube. Now then, we're under the car, we're on our backs. It's time for petrol tank weight lifting exercises. The tank is here. So we slide under and just generally get ourselves ready to rock and roll. The rubber pads are on top, by the way. I forgot to tell you about those. It's got some little brush pads, rubbing pads on top, rubber rubbing pads, a certain way which you offer the tank up and boom! We're in. We're in. We're there, we've done it, we got it. All we need to do now is get the straps ready and just strap yourself in. It's going to be a great ride. I promise you I'm going to bring you close and personal. This was done on Project Ruby, but to keep you live, you were then stuck to a brake disc. You were stuck to a brake disc. There we are. Struggle with me, folks. Feel the pain. Feel the pain. Now then, there's two sizes of strap. One fits a lot better than the other one. Hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea. Now, there is a certain way, if you're double jointed like me. Place strap in and twist round, having first checked it's the shorter strap, which it is. Okay, tank out, straps in first. Let's get it right. Okay, at least we're... Whoa! Fail! We're learning as we go. Even though I've done it 3 times. Actually done it more. I've done it more. I've done tanks on Mark 5s. I've done Tina G's tank. I've done Swampy's tank, Ruby's tank. And I still don't know. Right. These straps hook in very easily like this. Whoa! Watch the paint! Lucky that's underneath. Off the cloth, muff. Right. Off the cloth, muff. Where the hell was that from? School saying. Go off the cloth, muff. I don't know where that came from, that saying, but it's there, and I'm kind of like double jointed up. Look. Don't do this with your legs at home. Hang on. Do not bend your legs. Whoops. Do not bend your legs like this. doesn't look right. I think I broke that one. Right, okay. Yeah, look, we hook into there. Sorry about it's all a bit. This has gone very amateurish, hasn't it, for Cortina City? It was already amateurish. So I've done it that way. I think that's better. And any armchair people out there trying to direct me without having something to show yourselves, then you're not allowed. It's all right correcting me on this, but what have you done? Come on, you've been busy with your restoration, so come on. Right, now then, let's put you down at the back. Let's play. Oh dear, oh dear, dear, dear. Where are we? 2 straps? Right, that's guide. Yeah, 2 straps. That's the one. There you are, let me steady your legs out. Right. Now then, will this idea work? There's a lot of clunking going on. No, I think that'll work either. Get it right the first time. We'll have to reassess the situation. I really do. Struggle with me, folks. That's about it there. Around the area somewhere. Yep, that's it. If I can get one in, it's a start. Can you still see? I'm going to point you up because it's not the best view for you. Right, where's my bolts? Of course they're all ready laid out. Well, sort of. Here's the hooks. I've had these redone. And new nuts and new washers kits for these hooks. Now then, there's a way you can either go face inward. I can never remember. Again, there's something else I didn't remember. As it draws it up, it suits it better one way, I think, on the outside. Once we put that on and hold it for now, as we set everything up, it's alright for you watching in your armchairs. Commuters, on your computers. Right, that's, I'll just keep the wool front door for a sec while I start to see some action. And now the second one, that's if we're saying the hooks go to the outside. You would expect that because then it doesn't hit the top of the hook as it draws the unit upwards. Here's the second strap. Come on, second strap. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Heading in the right direction. I'm hoping it's going to draw itself together. That was a bit tight. Let's have a look if we're all engaged up here. We're into the slots. There's two located slots at the end of the tank. I think so. Can't feel them on this end. We are on that one. Slide back up. Should go. I think it's got to go slightly to the right. I've been a bit ambitious putting this one on so we get them both in. That's better. It's tight though. No, it's just the way it is. The strap just needs to keep going. That's better. We're almost making contact now. There's enough to get it. Just. Wow. It's tighter than I can remember them being. Please tell me the hooks went that way. Maybe they didn't. No, they don't. They go inward because it lines up with the bolt better. Yep, definitely go inward. Let's get this one on and swap the other side. I'd have jacked it up, but I don't want to dent the tank. Time to use the knees. We'll get it this time. Whoa. Right, let's get that before it tries to ping off. Thank you. Woo! That was fun. I don't know if you saw all of that, but this, they do go the other way because he points them outwards, so you were with me there. Look at that nice little workout, that. Right, let's nip these up and the tank will slowly draw up and squash its rubber pads. Except the sender unit needs fitting in. I'm missing the pickup filter for the sender, that's why I've not mounted it yet. Swap that bolt round and we're good to go. Okay, it's on. Whoa! Bit of an exercise. We want to make sure it lands right in the middle, which it does. If it doesn't, you can always just pull them over a little bit, but we're okay there. So that's that done. Got our ID tag as well inside there. And that's that bit done. Okay, let's find something else to do. At least it's one less thing off the floor, not to trip over. So we're good to go with the petrol tank on. So let's have a look at it underneath. Come and see, come and see. Come and see. Welcome on. Bienvenido. Okay. Muy bien. Fantástico. No problem. Me gusta mucho. Me gusta mucho. Muy bien. Okay, let's continue on into the next episode and get some brake lines in. So kindly supplied by Wayne, we've got some brake pipe there. We've got from Car Builder Solutions, well you can get them on eBay, this little device, Quicks UK 3/16 pipe straightener. When your pipe comes off the coil, you run it through these rollers here and it just goes on the end and you feed the tube in, courtesy of a little note. I didn't know about this tool. It's a great tool and it slides on. I'm not showing that very clearly, am I? hang on a sec, let's set on the pipe, there we go. As you take the pipe off the roll here, you feed it through this, and a couple of rolls and it straightens out the pipe, just the way that the rollers are arranged inside that. Other cheaper ones are available. This is around 45 quid, but it's worth it, does a good job. So we've got tube on the roll, 3/16. We're doing the long brake run underneath the car. So we go under the car now. You may as well just do a point of view video, so I'm your eyes and ears on YouTube and Patreon land as we go under the lovely completed body shell. People who haven't seen it, feast your eyes. So on this inner chassis leg, you've got a run of 8mm holes which you then insert your brake pipe clips into. These can be bought from Bresco.com. Have a look at those. There's two types. They had a metal clip type that slides in, and also a plastic one. I suggest the plastic ones are better. Make sure your holes, I do the holes at 7.5mm. Then if you add in the holes later, then put paint on them. Mine were already pre-drilled and painted. 7.5, then a screwdriver between it and tap it in if it won't quite go. If you have them too loose, those holes, these pop out and they're no good. They've got to be just the right fit. Okay, so I found that they're meant to be 8mm, but 7.5 I do them at, just to get that extra clip-in feel. There's a little factory metal tang there, which is the end of the line for the brake line. So the brake line's coming down. This is for the rear brakes, and it's going to find its way into the engine bay, which it then goes to a union and then continues on to the master cylinder. But we're concerned with this first run. Here's our flexi pipe then for the back axle, so the back axle can move and that'll flex. There's the junction there, a new nut and bolt and a anti-rattle washer, anti-undo washer, like a spike washer on there. We're going to grease that because these rust up. So the tube the brake pipe wants to come out. We want a nice tight right angle on it, and then another right angle on it to pick up this clip, and then a run down. Now we don't know the exact length, so I'm going to just unfold it as it goes. The Ford book says 2 meters 32, 2032 millimeters, but I've gone off them before. I'm never 100% sure if they're right. Rather than cut the pipe and it be wrong, I'm going to unravel it as we go, starting at this end and then just see where it lands. It needs to be landing up on the inside of the chassis leg for the union to connect. I know roughly where the union goes. There's no exact formula for the brake pipes. Ford even suggests they don't stock the pipes, that the dealers to make them to suit, so it's not a stocked item. So you can like on your own with them really. All we can do is make the neatest turns we can, and then we're going to come out of here now. We're going to go and look at the little Newts tool. I think it was either Gary or Graham made this. I'm going to have to credit him at the end of the film. This is a beautiful piece of kit. I believe, little Newt can correct me, that this was based on a Ford's tool. Now there's different types of pipe bender. There's quite a few. If you look around, you probably know the ones. There's 2 wheels. There's a little vice type one. This one allows you to do a couple of things. You can put the nipple on first, okay, and then bend a very tight angle, a right angle, on when the nipple's already fitted, which allows you to get tight bends on right close up, so it's a great idea. Normally you've got to insert this onto the tube to flare. You've got to flare your tube. So flaring the tube means making the end of the tube the mushroom shape so that it locks this on, and that's the brake flaring tool there. I'll show you that in a minute. That's a Sykes Pick-a-Vance one. I suggest either borrowing one or getting one of these rather than the cheap handheld ones you get from Machine Mart. They're no good. You just end up messing about. They don't do a good job. You need to get your pipes properly done. So once we flare the end of the tube, you can fit that on, put it into here, then you can get your bend, and that means that this is then locked onto a very tight bend. Normally you wouldn't be able to do that. So this tool here is very clever. That's very well made. It's handmade. He's made all that, engineered all that himself. Respect to him for that. So, and you can also use it for regular bending as well. You don't have to have the fitting on the end, I believe. Hopefully I'm getting this right, Jim. I'm still learning how to use it, but I just love it. It's a great piece of kit to go with your Sykes picker vance. Looks like it was intended to have rubber handles here. That'd be nice to put something on there of your choice. Some sleeving. Very nice piece of kit. So we're going to go out to the vise, because we have to lock this into the vise. This Sykes tool locks in the jaws of the vise there, and then what you do, it's got two operations on it. Look for your 3/16 ones. Let's turn it the right way up. Look how you've got 3/16 on op 1 and there's 3/16 on op 2 there. And what you do is you just, it has a die in it here. I think we've shown you this before on Project Ruby. And the pipe, the tube goes into the die. You can see the shapes imprinted into the die. It's got a little vice clamp here, and then when you pull on this lever, you slot the lever in. Here's the lever, so that slots into there, and then you pull out, which then forces this ram into the tube that can't move anywhere, and it shapes it the same shape as these dies. And then if you want, that's for the male end. If you're doing a female one, you need a cup shape. So there's a female connector. You want the cup shape into it because it has the pipe joining it. So that's called op 2. You do an op 1 on it, then you turn it and you do an op 2. So you do two operations to get the cup recess, or the female type version end on your tube. So op 1 for just normal male fittings and op 2 for female fittings. There's a male, there's a female. So that's it, and it does it, as I say, on this end of the pipe. So you'd fit that now into, we're going to go into the vise now that we've straightened it, the section that we want, because I'm not quite sure where the bends are going to be. We're going to offer it up under the car and get it exact, and we're going to use this tool. We're just going to freeform really as we go. So I'll jump to that completed. I'm not going to take you to the vise and do that, I don't think. Maybe I will. We'll see what room I've got in the back, because the vise is now in the back workshop, not in the main workshop. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the brake line in for the run underneath the car for the back brakes, and then they come up on the inner wing, inner chassis leg here. Got a couple more clips to put in, and the union hangs around just about halfway down that chassis leg, and then from the union it continues up along the bulkhead, along, and then we need to get it here into the brake servo. The back brakes are at the front there. That's what we've got to do. I'll check it that they are at the front. I think because you get front pressure when you push your pedal, the first bit of pressure is coming out the first port. Most of the pressure's on your front brakes, then it starts to put the pressure onto the back. It's a dual system for safety, so if one circuit fails, you'd get at least your back brakes, or at least your front brakes, depending on which circuit went. They changed it later to a crossover pattern, but on these cars, these early cars, your back brakes are one circuit, your front are the other. Later on it was a crisscross design, and they changed this to a 3-port master cylinder, and you had a splitter block on there as well. In fact, actually I think there was an intermediate splitter block on there with a 2-port servo, and then no splitter box and a 3-port servo, I think, on Mark 5s. Anyway, we're on the Mark 3 Series 1, and that's where we're going, down there. Okay, so that's all explained what I'm going to do to get the brake pipes done. Then once that brake pipe's done, I just continue round, and then you've got a junction here, a flexi to the suspension clip, which I've had redone. You can get them in rubber, but all the ones I found were new old stock and were 40, 50 years old. Didn't look too good, so I've had a braided one made. I don't want to take no chances, that takes a lot of pressure. So from that we're going up again, finding our way to the master cylinder. So those pipes to be made now, get that little job done and out of the way. You want them in. If our engine goes in, we certainly don't want to be trying to fit these pipes when the engine's in the bay. See you in a sec. Let's get doing. There's a reason why we don't come out here very often. We're invaded by pigeons, and they're all going to have to go. Right, there's the die, there's the tube. I'll lay that in there like that, put the other die on top, lock it in, tighten it up. You'll put up with that pigeon noise. I'm afraid your days are numbered because you're getting evicted. Right, operation 1 on the device, line it up. The tube just comes almost parallel with the front of the block, the die block, and then push across. I have to grip the RSJ, and in we go. And then because it's a female, we go again. Bring it forward a little bit. So the pigeons going crazy. Lock it in, then go to op 2. And op 2 will put the cup into it, make sure everything's locked. Grab my RSJ. And that will be a female. I'll show you now. And there you have it. So, I'd already slotted on, don't forget to slot on your fitting. And there you go. Hold on. So that's that end done. Simple as that. We can now go underneath the car. Get away from the pigeons, they're driving me mad. Okay, I've got the pipe fitted alright at the back. What I've done now, I've unravelled the tube and gone along on the clips just there and bring it up to where it joins. Now it joins just between the two pipe clips, as one needs fitting in there, but between there and there is where we have the union. So now I can get the exact length. So I'm just going to unravel the tube till it gets between those two clips. One clip needs fitting, as I said, and that's where the join becomes, and then we're done. So that way I've got it exact. Now whether that's 2 meters and 32 according to the Ford book, we don't know, but we've done it that way to make sure it lands in the right spot. As I say, the union fits just there between the two clips, keeps it supported, and it carries on up to that clip, then across. This bit will be a bit more backwards, be a bit more tricky. Let's take you down to the back and show you the curves, the Samantha Foxes, the Linda Lasardis. Let's have a look at our Linda Lasardis. Our Ashley Pages. So we went there, that's our little nuke tool gave us that. Although I think it's Gareth or Graham made it. I'm going to make sure I credit the person for that. Need to ring Jim and ask him. Away we went, and one little just a thumb bend in that one to go down, and then away we go. We didn't need a tight curve on that one, just a gentle curve on that one. No need to make it too tight. And then it goes down. We're going to run the pipe straightener on it before we finally clip it up. So what we do, when we get the cut point at that end, we run the straightener on this, take it off, run the straightener on it, and then get it in the vise and fit the end piece for the union. And that pipe then is done. Wasn't that bad. Took about, well, we're going to take about an hour, I would have thought. We're into it for 25 minutes now. Little metal tang there, of course. We'll just hold that in, and that's it. Quite a neat brake pipe run. Okay, that's that end done, and then that makes the male end, and then we can now fit the union. Mustn't forget to tighten these up later on. So that will be going up on that inner chassis leg. I'll go under the car now and fit this in all the way along. Have a look, take you off the tripod. Down you go, that's your completed brake pipe run. So we're going to clip it up. Here we go. And just a gentle bend on the end here. Just do that by hand. I see some of them clips. That clip's a little loose. Hopefully this will hold that one. And that was that. Very neat. Okay. That's it. Let's get out of here. I'm stuck underneath here. Gotta be an acrobat for this. Woo! Limbo, Caribbean style. Well, with the aid of that forming device, a combination of pipe bending and flaring, we've got ourselves a nice set coming out there from the master cylinder. Two strong bends on there, so it's worked good, the tool for that. And then down we go, a little spacing clip here, look, just to keep things neat, and a double run, these clips on the top of the bulkhead there, top of the transmission tunnel, neatly clip the pipes in, then they go along there and down into that braided hose, and the other one down towards the back for the rear axle, the rear brakes. And that is it. That came out very nicely indeed, all clipped up and all neat. So the brakes in the engine bay are completed now. We've just got one to do across the back axle, and that's all the brake pipes done. We can put the brake flaring kit away. Then we're going to do the fuel line. We've got some fuel line tubing down on the floor here to make the engine bay fuel pipe. So tomorrow we're going to get on and do that. I'm just going to have something to eat now. It's the end of the day for me, so catch you in a few secs. Looking good. Okay, diff inspection is over. New gasket going on, a little bit of Holland Mars sealant, and then it's time to fit the cover with the sealant on both sides. So we're just going to stick this cover on there and bolt it back up, and we'll give it a road test. If it's noisy, well, we'll get another sorted out. But for now, this is what we got. It looks clean enough to me. Let's see how it performs. 3.75 diff. We're a few months off road testing yet, but that time will come quicker than you think. With the diff cover on, we're getting ready now to fit these back plates, which we've had powder coated. And they go, those two studs you can see just on my left hand, they go at the bottom. So that's going on that way, onto that face plate, and then the half shaft slides in and the whole affair bolts up using the half shaft bolts. So the half shaft, you Barney backwards. Rear wheel bearing fits in this race here. We believe the bearings to be in good order. So all we're going to do, each end, slot the half shaft in with the backing plate in position, then draw the bolt in, and it should draw the bearing into there. And then we can start fitting the wheel cylinders, rear wheel cylinders, which will give us that aperture, that oval cut out there is where they fit. And that means we'll be able to get the brake lines nicely shaped and run along here. And then that's the last of the brake line jobs done, which means I can put the brake kit, tools totally away and just get that job out of the way. So that means no more brake lines to make. All the brake line parts can get put away. And if anyone needs to borrow the brake line tools for their cars. They can borrow mine if they want, because I won't be using them for a while. So that's what my plan is, in case you're wondering. So I'm going to put this together now. Here we go, slot this together. Okay, this disc, don't forget to take the powder coating off, which I forgot to do. This goes into there, that goes onto there, half shaft in. Till we lock on. Get that a bit more up there. Now I'm just going to find the splines. Next to there. You can hear it engaged, tap it in. And then get the bolts locked on here. There's a little hole through the end of the half shaft so you can get your socket in. Bolts go in here once you've got it all lined up. Now then, that's the top. Yeah, it's right there. Brake cylinder at the top. Bolts through here, and then line up that drive, and then get our socket in. And we'll draw these bolts in now, and that'll lock that all together. Okay, it is time to fit the actual cylinders themselves. Sorry, I just hit the tripod then. How silly of me. One cylinder goes in. One securing bolt. We need 2 securing bolts. Grabbing. I'm going to get some new clothes, you never know. Miracles do happen. I might even order some of my own t-shirts. I've got all those t-shirts there, Cortina City ones. If you ain't got one, get on the store and buy. If you don't want to go on Patreon support, buy a t-shirt, that'll help. They're on the shop, on the YouTube shop. Okay, one for the next. He likes things to be nice and neat. That's just Karen and Gary. Cobra on, Karen and Gary, hello. Paul and Ruth, hello. Paul and Ruth. Out in East Yorkshire. Side of Andy on the side, Andy the lens. And lots more besides. Right, so with that on, you've now got your ports here. We can now make the brake pipes. Now what happens is, the flexi hose lands around here on this bracket just off screen. There's a bracket there. I'm going to bring you around, show you the bracket. Let's just loosen the tripod. And then we're there for the bracket. Flexi hose is going to be on here. It's going to come up. And then it's going to terminate there. Then we have a female on it, which then goes under this clip into this cylinder, this side, out, then in to the other cylinder, then into a bleed nipple on that side. So we're coming in, along, into the cylinder, out of the cylinder, then all the way along for a long run across. That's the tricky one to make. So 2 to do, well, I'll say the tricky one's probably this short one here. Okay, so let's get busy and build some brake lines. Right, this is going to be my technique for doing this brake line as neatly as we can with some very tight angles on it. Obviously, we've got the help of Little Newt's brake bending tool. So I'm going to start with straightening the tube with this pipe straightener. So I'll just put it in. We'll get ourselves a bit of a straight run there. And then I'm going to flare this end, put the male nipple on there, then give it a tight 90, or was it 45? No, 90 down, then another 90 across. I'm going to go along, but I'm not going to cut the length of it. I'm just going to do these moves first, and when I end up at this end, then I'll mark for the cut. And then it's a female fitting at that end, which screws onto the flexi hose, which is now dangling under the car. So that's the way I'm going to do this. I don't know the exact length. I'm going to make it as I go, which is how I've done the other ones. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the vise and that's in the back shed. I'm going to clamp, form and fit the nipple for this one for now, not the other end, not the female end. We'll do some bends on here, then cut, then fit, then bend. So that should get us this first brake pipe. We'll be right back. Right, that's that male end on. The camera does take a while. It does quite a good job for the price of the camera, but it takes a while. As you often see on YouTube, you often hear me mention waiting for it to auto focus. It's simply easier to run the camera on automatic. So that's end's ready. Hopefully that's just caught it for you. Now for the magic, that little new magic. But Jim didn't make it, Jim sorted it out. A very good engineer maker. We think he's called Gary, Gareth or Graham. It's a 1 in 3 chance, but here it is. This allows that now to fit into there and get a very tight right angle. This is what we wanted to do. Now I'm still learning how to use it, but looking at the way it is, I think it's time to turn it. Nope, that's not right. Nope, that's not right. I think I flipped down that way. Let's try this. I will be away. I will be away. Definitely not that way. Definitely not that way. Probably that way. There we go. It's that way. So, if I remember rightly now, we go this way like this. And that gives us what we wanted, just there. Although I think you can get them even closer than that, but for these that's all right. We've got plenty of room on these. In fact, it's probably better a little bit out because it clears then this hub here. So we're okay there. Well, it's going to annoy me that I don't know how to do the tight up bend. I will work it out. Right, it gets a little bit tricky now because the pipe's quite too long, or way too long. We've now got to work out the second point. I might move the bench out a bit. And we're going to work out the second bend point. I won't bore you with that, I'll cut to it when it's done, but you can work out what we're doing. In, round and out. Let's just see the finished product. Right, I think I got this right. I made a little template just here, curved it the same as the pipe I'm about to form. I put the curve to follow the axle tubing, but I've now straightened it out. Then I've made it so it lands, here's the flexi pipe, so it's going to land when I do the receptacle on it, it should land about there. So by re-straightening it out, you can work out the length to cut the actual final tube, which is about here. Hopefully this will work. Now I can't bend anything this now. I've got to anything on this now. I've got to get the female on and then do the bending. So we're hoping it's going to work. It should be the right length to land on the brake pipe. The brake pipe, I'm going to bolt it on with its nut. That's that. By the time I've done this now, take this to the vise, put the female on, then bend it. It should work. So I'm going to undo this and take it off. Get this out. We'll be back in a... Okay, fast forward an hour, and after a bit of bending we're there, and I finally worked out how to get the ultra tight bends on this. You use the little stud there to rest the nut on. Jim told me, I'm sure. So round we go, and look, we've done it neat. 2 in a row there, going down, then we split out down here, fit in there, so curved over that was hand formed over the tube into the... I had the pipe the other way round. I don't know if any keen viewers spotted it, but pipe comes in from this side. I was starting to build it with the pipe coming in from that side. Wrong, comes in there, flexi pipe, so I just had to shorten that down. So we're there. I think that was the second attempt. This one's the first attempt. Over we go, clipping into the axle casing, the diff casing, clipping into the clips along the way, down, and then just so I can get to the bleed nipple from the back of the car, it's easier to get it. I've kicked it back, and these come out at an angle, so you've got a kick back there going into that back one. Just means I can put the bleed nipple here. So that's it, we're done. We are complete and neat and complete. So have a quick look, we'll step you back the best we can. And that's the state of play on this axle. So we are done with the brake flaring kit and the formers and everything, so we thank them for a great service. We thank Jim's mate who built it, we thank Little Newt for sending it, thank Little Newt for putting me onto this bad boy. You wouldn't want to get your pack of coat in there, would ya? It's kind of like, looks like a very heavy object. It looks like a very heavy object. Yeah, there, here, there, all done. Right, it's Friday night, I've got a live chat on, so I better go and get ready on the computer. Catch you tomorrow. Episode 39 going well. Over and out for this evening, Friday night. Beer time. Okay, we have built up the brakes both sides. The master cylinders, wheel cylinders are okay. I just didn't think they were right with those slots in, but they do work. Hoping you can see. We've got that top spring in. We've got that. Can you see the brake, handbrake adjusting device? It's a little ratchet there. You can just see it in the middle of your screen. When you pull on the handbrake, if there's free play in the shoes, the ratchet's able to move and extend out that fork. You can see the fork here, and it'll make that wider. A little lever has to attach on the back of your brake shoe when you fit it. That's held in with a little clip just there, like a horseshoe shape. So when you change your shoes, you actually change that backing lever, which connects to the handbrake. It essentially is the handbrake lever. And then it has another bar on it, or another lever on it, which then goes to this ratchet pawl there. And as you pull, it tries to push that little wheel round. If there's enough slack in the shoes, it'll take it up. It's a self-adjuster. You know you've got it right when you can hear it make a click sound. The idea is you can push the bar back and turn this by hand and get the shoes fully home, so you can get your drum on, and then it'll adjust when you pull on the handbrake cable. That's the theory. This is all rebuilt, it should be good. The only thing you can get wrong is you can get that wheel threaded on the bar the wrong way round, so it's directional on the ratchet. I think I've got that right. Two little retaining springs, you push and lock the shoes on with those. And the shoes are directional, they'll have arrows on them. See this arrow here? You can just see that arrow showing the principal rotation forwards. Obviously different, the fact it goes backwards goes against that, but the main travel, forward rotation. So both shoes go the right way round. When you get a set of 4, you got to make sure you get them set up on your axle right, because there's L1, L2, R1 and R2. You'll work it out off the arrows. Another spring at the bottom, that can be a bit tight to get on. That's under quite a bit of tension. I use long nose pliers, some Teng Tools ones, really good locking pliers, and get a really good strong lock. But you need needle nose pliers, you know, long nose, and then hook in at one end, and then you can just do it. I used a lever on the side of the half shaft and pulled up against the pliers and sort of pushed it in. They will go. Make sure your shoes are seated properly. That's it. That's how it's set up, on at least on a 2-litre axle. I know sometimes you can forget where everything goes. I often do. So we've got these adjusters here. Well, not adjusters, but these little levers tell you how much free play there is in the handbrake. They're an indicator. You can push on them and it'll stop at the point where the lever bar is. Allows you to check your free play. So that's a drum on. These are just powder, VHT paint, very high temperature paint on the drums. They're in good order. I didn't get new drums, but for the price I should have done really. The drums are score free. Looks like they were new on the car anyway. So I had a lot of new parts on the car, I noticed. So someone had been servicing it well. Just high temp black paint for them. If you powder coat those, the paint will just burn off. So you know, under extreme braking conditions, I've found that mine just melted off, my powder coating. So that's about it. That's the axle done. Know what else I can say except it's done. As I said, it's in Frost Chassis Black Extreme. There's our bleed nipple there. All our pipe runs have worked out great. So that wraps that little section. Not sure if this is the end of this clip or not, but we'll see how much footage we've got. But we're getting ready to send the car away to the headlining place, and then we'll have a week in the workshop where we can work on getting the engine ready to fit. There's a couple of gearbox cooler pipes to run, there's a water pump to swap out, some parts to source, and then a principle of getting it into the car, a way of working it out, how we're going to get that into the car inside this garage, given the limited headroom that we've got. We'll have to work out our way. That's a job for later. So put all tools away now, as usual. See you in a sec. It might not look it, but these seats are very comfortable. We got over 30 cops in this building. It's another film quote. Now then, did I promise you? Oh, now then, have I sunk into these seats very nicely? And what a great way to wind down after episode 39, all them brake lines and messing about building the axle up. And of course 38 was a double bill. Wow, it's a double bill, I don't believe it. Right, yeah, of course. This is the end of 39. We'll have a little chat in the back of Bramble because the seats are still in at the back. I'm wearing sunglasses and we're indoors. That's it's so bright out there. I've been out cleaning TC. I'll show you in a minute. Hang on. So I can see, because I can't even see if the camera's running. And it is. So, 39, axles, bits and bobs, brake lines, what a great tool. That little Newt's Ford inspired brake bending tool. Great, everyone's going to be wanting to use that, I'm sure. That's got to be worth every blooming penny, that. Wow. I mean, it's a game changer, you know. Worth every penny. Them ones from Machine Mart. They're worth about a penny. So, what do we say before we close then? Obviously everything has to come to an end, including this episode. But what a great way. A great way? What a great way. Great way to wind down. Where do we go in 40? Where do we go from here? We go to the headlining. We go to the vinyl roof soon. That's next week. I've been to look at a Crayford, which is rough. On my way to me exercise, by the way. I try not to take the mic. I'm not deliberately flouting rules, but I did pop in and have a little look at Crayford when I actually escaped from this place. I've not been out for 3 months. It's amazing how much you miss driving. It's amazing how much you miss the open road, the Lake District, Yorkshire Dales, these kind of places. Yeah, all the places people were flocking to. Although if I didn't do that, but if I was going to do that, I'd have gone all the back routes that we know from the Ruby Road Trip days. I wouldn't have gone to any like top tourist spots, although I haven't even done that because I've been busy building this car. Now you can actually go out in my car. I can go out in my car, as everyone can, within reason, of course. I mean, you know, I'm not going to do any harm just in my car. I'm not going to meet anybody else. I'm just going to go out in the car. But I did meet some people when I went to look at that Crayford, and more about that at another date. Maybe some snippets of it, but more about that another time. But the social isolation thing ain't good for your blooming mental health. You know, I'm sure you all know this. There's only so much you can do before the rot sets in. Excuse the pun. You know, we need to socialise. We are a society. I'm quite a solitary person by nature, so perhaps for me it hasn't been as tricky, especially when you've got a project, you know, and you can escape out. Well, I say escape out, there's actually nowhere to escape from. You're just going into your garages or your sheds or your lockups or your units or outside under your tarpaulins. I don't know, you know, but that is a diversion when you can do your car from the what can be the boredom of lockdown, which who would ever have expected this to happen. Psychologically, there's the point I was making, psychologically it grinds you down. Sometimes it's got to be done, or it has to be done. What a shame, the car show season this year is just wiped out. Although I have seen in Classic Car Weekly that they are putting dates in for August. I mean, you know, you could just have a big field, especially with it being outdoors. I don't agree with anything indoors, so the NEC's got to be basically dead in the water, I would have thought. But outdoors, why not just put the cars 2 metres apart, and then okay, you're 2 metres. I've got me selfie stick, so I could still film by using that, which is what I did when I went to film the Crayford. Held the stick out, and you could just put your deck chairs out. At least you're out and about. I don't know why they don't do that. You know, we'll have to see what comes up. I think car shows would be good. I think you need to get out, as long as you just keep the spacing up. I hope you don't have to do it forever. I'm not going to get into it any more than that. That is the closest you'll hear me going on about it. Episode 40 should see the car come back with this vinyl, the headlining done, and with the vinyl roof fitted, and then I'll start fitting all the trim pieces. And obviously I've got a plan for the engine. Right, listen to me, plan for the engine. At the moment I can't get the car to a 2-post lift like I did with Swampy. It looked cool, lowering it down with Swampy, it's nice, but it means, well, I could ship everything out to a garage and we could do it at a garage. But I've got this idea to do it here. And the idea is that we jack, this car at the moment is on a dolly. It's on that dolly frame that you've seen so many times with the rubber wheels. Although at the moment it's on axle stand, so we don't wobble while I'm filming this. Because if we were still on the rubber tyres now, your camera would be going like that. So to stop that, I've axle standed it. Axle stood it, taxi to piss out on the backwards. Steady. The plan. Jack the blooming car up on the dolly at the front using the dolly bars, the dolly jig bars to jack from, then put axle stands under each side, so the front has gone up like this. Then put the engine in the box on a low level skate, small caster wheel skate, and slide in. Now you're going to have the front cross member of the dolly in the way to stop you sliding in, so I propose to chop that, because we're not going to need the dolly again. You can always re-weld it or put brackets on. You could make the dolly so that it flat packs, so that might be, you know, a good thing to be doing. Chop the bar off the front of the dolly, right, and then, because it'll still be on axle stands, it's not going to collapse, slide the engine and box under with the front up, so you're straight in. Then I was going to put a trestle either side of the inner wing. Obviously don't fit the wings, so that you don't want to get in any damage. A trestle either side, left and right at the front on the inner wings. Extend the trestle legs up, then put a beam across that goes across the whole engine bay. From that, I don't think there'll be enough to get a block and tackle on. But there'll be a way where we can jack the engine and suspend it on the beam that's now across the engine bay. So the engine and box are dangling. Grab the back tail shaft of the gearbox and bolt it into the transmission tunnel, so the engine's now sort of pivoting or resting on the centre mount for the back of the gearbox. Then it's hovering in the engine bay, probably slightly higher than it would normally sit, so you're almost pulling it through the engine bay. So you've tucked it underneath and you're pulling it out through the top. Then there should be enough room to slide the clip in from the front, so the suspension clip, again down on a very low jig, or even on a blanket, and just tow it in. And the clip itself, you could get a low level jack. I've got the low profile jack in the other garage where Swampy is, and jack the clip up. Now the clip's going to now jack into its 4 mounting points. So then you've got the engine hovering above it, the clips now come up from underneath. All you've got to do then is let the engine land on its 2 mount points, and that way I could do it on my own, and I can do it in this garage because there should be enough room to get that front lower valance high enough up to get the top of the engine. And I've measured it, and I need 2 foot of lift on this jig, which there's plenty. I think there's 4 foot clearance left, in fact probably more. So that's the plan for that. That'll probably happen in episode 40, so watch out for that one. Another idea I had was revisiting the 1977 or 76 catalogue that I've got, the mail order catalogue that I've got, for a bit of fun this now, by the way. And I'm just going through this to wind you down at the end of 39, because some people say, don't end abruptly. Okay, let's just, there you go. It's late at night. I think it's Monday. No, I think it's Sunday night, actually. This has gone out late. I hope you picked it up. Down we go. There. There you are. Better. The mail order catalogue. And create a random number generator between 0 and the amount of pages and play 76 mail order catalogue lottery. Bingo, whatever you want to call it, and I'll call the pages out, and then we'll do a review on each page, because it's quite funny. I'll do it for 15 minutes, so bit of fun. Better when you've had a few, because you come up with a bit more fluidness, shall we say. Okay, so that is it, we are done. That's 10 minutes worth of Bramble Ramble. Where's the Bramble Ramble? Does my interior light override system work? I think it does. It does if you connect the wires up to it, which I haven't done. I was going to give you a little bit of a light show. I don't think I can do that. Yeah, I can. Oh, yes, I can. There you go. Lights. So, that is it. We wound down the episode a little bit gently. What else can we think of doing? Well, you saw the axle just then, 10 minutes ago, whatever. Where are we up to with the seats? Are okay, door cards you've seen. I'm just trying to think, what is anything else in the pipeline? Engine you've seen. Little bits of trim to go on, and glass and fitting and stuff like that. Window rubbers, glass, all those kind of things to come. I reckon we're going to end up finishing up at episode 45, maybe 46, 47, similar to Ruby and Swampy. I think they got up to about that level of film. So it's all been good, really. I'll be sad when it's done, to be fair, because it's been a great diversion. I hope that it coincides with a bit more freedom out in the open, the great wide open, the great outdoors, because then I can start enjoying it even more than just the one trip that you can make. We could perhaps have campsites open. Now that would be good. What about that for a solution for this year's holidays? Although they'll probably be oversubscribed if everyone thinks along the same lines, aren't they? But camping could work. It'd work for me if I get a decent mattress is the only thing, and a good quiet location is what I need for camping. So it has to be quite a specific area in the campsite, because I'm pretty sensitive to noise. So I'd like to be quite remote. Although of course the nature of a campsite for the profit is they've got to pack you in, many as they can in one field. So I'd have to look at that, but that would work for me because hotels, they wouldn't open. Basically what I'm saying is I'd like to get out and about in the summer as much as I can, and then obviously I hope by the end of the summer that it comes where you can have your partner with you as well, because that's a big problem too, of course. I'm just thinking of all case scenarios. We've not been able to go out as a couple now, and that's really bad news. It really is bad news. So all of those things I hope start to come together so you can get something back, this year. I hope so anyway. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that one. We'll keep our eyes on the news. Not that I watch the news. It's not really the best thing for me to watch. So, back outside for me. I'm going to go and move TC. I'll give him a clean down. I'm going to move TC. I'm going to say goodnight to you lot. Again, as we always say, thanks for the comments in the live chat box. It's quite a good family. We had 300 on last vid. I think on episode 38, I think we had 300 on. It's quite good. We've got 21,000 subscribers. but they don't always convert through to actual real identifiable people for some reason. I don't know, it's just the way that YouTube works. It seems that there's some maths involved with subscriptions and actual real existing people, and obviously the conversion factor as well. We've got 423 patrons, I think. So what's the maths on that? If you've got 20,000 subscribers, you manage to harvest 423 patrons from that. And when I say harvest, I don't mean that to be belittling, because they're all, I'm basically saying it's numbers, percentages. Like a mail shot, like if you do 10,000 leaflets or whatever, you get 1% reply back. It's a similar idea where, you know, there's 20,000 subs and that brought in 400 patrons, so there's some maths involved with it, and I think that a lot of the subscribers could be just subscribe and never come back. You know, they might just be casually drifting through, whereas a lot of you are hardcore. Obviously the 300 in the chat box and the 400 patrons are your hardcore, which I appreciate very much, and I hope that the films bring some entertainment. I know on 38 part 1 there wasn't as much action work with my hands working, but don't forget there has been a lot of action with my hands on the handbrake, on the electronics, throughout the videos, throughout the series. And it's difficult for me, you know, that episode 38, the first hour, there was a phase when I put this dashboard in, right, where I didn't film it because I didn't really know what I was doing, how I was going to stage the camera. You put the camera in the back here, you put it at the side, you risk the tripod hitting the quarters, you've been here and it's wobbling all over the place because I was on the tyres. I didn't really want to film it. I was struggling with the dash. Some days I don't film. Not everything is covered. It's just to set the camera up for each angle, right? To plan out your script, that what you're going to do to get your lighting and your sound, because it's a great camera, and Lee Holmes supplied it with me. I've always used these, but I've gone through quite a few. Mainly when I was welding, it damages the cameras with the dust and the grinding dust and the welding. But Lee got me this camera off eBay for me, and so they're great cameras. It's Panasonic DC10 or DCX3 Panasonic pistol grip. It's a blooming great camera for me and my condition, slightly autistic condition, or the far end of the spectrum. But I just like the way that it works, and I get used to a certain pattern and a certain ritual and a certain predictability of things. Order and routine, they're the words I was looking for, and the camera is part of my order and routine, and I don't like it to be changed. So when I fit out a Cortina, again I follow an order and a routine. Sometimes it'll be improved upon, but a framework has to exist in my mind. I can't handle it otherwise. So the camera, what I'm trying to say is the camera, I always stick with it, and the microphone on it and the lighting on it for doing these detailed shots that you were talking about is sometimes difficult with that camera to get it. It's difficult to set the shots up, it's time consuming, and you're not getting paid for it. It's not a professional restoration channel. I'm not getting professional money. I'm not getting anything except the Patreon funding. YouTube, forget it. People think you make money out of YouTube. You need to get millions of views to make. What did I make last month about YouTube? Because everyone's going to ask this question, and it's one of those things where people say what do you make. They love to know, and I also love to know what other people make, although I can find it out quite easily based on the views comparative to mine, just by scaling it up, as long as the content is similar, because different content has different ad revenue streams. Like makeup videos get different money than car videos, so that's how it works. But it's paid per click, and it's all done per views. And here it is. I'm not getting out of it. Last month I made £52, 52 English pounds on YouTube. Right, it's better than nothing. But if someone said to me, "Oh, mate, when's the next video coming out?" It's not, because I'm not doing that. It takes 5 hours to make the film. It takes 2 hours to edit it, an hour to upload and do all the keywords and stuff, half an hour or so, sometimes more, to do the thumbnail. Not to mention the filming. Not to mention that it interrupts building the car. So that's fine. And don't get me wrong, I'll put videos on YouTube for no money. I don't want money out of it. I'm just saying that if it's done to order, if you say do this do that. Why haven't you done this? I haven't done it because it's not professional. Now, I'm not professionally paid to do it. I just try and do the best that I can, and sometimes that may mean that you get a film where there isn't much of my hands and it's just, I've just fitted the carpet, but it doesn't show me fitting the carpet. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to film it, and I'm not working for anybody. I'm not working for YouTube. I'm trying to do it to bring entertainment, and primarily anyway, my drive was always entertainment as opposed to the actual car. I mean, maybe I'm good at doing the car, and I enjoy doing the car and all the detailing work, but I enjoy more bringing the entertainment value of it to your screens in the hope that it's appreciated. So really that explains a little bit why the first hour of episode 38 didn't show much, simply the way that it works, and that I'm just not paid for this, it's just for fun. I hope that it brings things out of it, perhaps I'll make a good contact, and of course Patreon came from it. Without Patreon there would definitely be no videos, not in a consistent way, not in a structured way like this is, because you've got your episodes, your thumbnail, the live chat, it all goes through. But there's no revenue stream. The car itself is not a revenue stream, and when I say revenue stream, I mean something which creates a net profit. So there is no net profit. You know how much is in this car, and you know how much I couldn't get it back. The only way you could get your money back, and you'd only get your parts and money back, you wouldn't get your time money back, is if you had someone who really wanted that specific car and was prepared to pay any price. Let's say they just won the lottery or something like this. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm paying, I'm having your car because I've seen every nut and bolt, everything's right on it. Then you get it. But if you just put this on KGF Cars, which is a good classic car auction site, dealer site, KGF, they always have quality. So you put it on there, 20k, 25. It would be sitting around. That Super Speed was on at 34. I don't think that ever sold until it dropped down into the mid-20s. It's difficult. So there's no revenue stream in the car. You can't build a Cortina for any kind of profit. You might make a small living out of it, perhaps, in what you would call not sundry spin-offs, not even spin-offs is the word I'm trying to think of. Ancillary, no, there is a word. Forget it now. Not sundry, it's not spin-off, it's not ancillary, it's niche markets associated with this. Maybe you could make money out of them. Anyway, hopefully what I've tried to do is talk you to sleep so that you've all nodded off by now. Wonder if that worked. We'll catch you soon. Good night, and what I was trying to say right from the start was thanks for the comments, thanks for the feedback, the thumbs up and the thumbs down, who cares about that? All of it, okay, it's been great, and all feedback's good. All that is all good, it all ups the rating, so we don't mind. And let them do it from their armchairs, let them restore from their armchairs. I should really do an Alan Partridge on it, really. I don't know if anyone ever gets the Alan Partridge references, but there are a few scattered throughout my films. And the quote at the beginning of this clip, have you got it yet? That couch looks very comfortable. I got over 30 cops in this building. It's, no, there's no clues. It's up to you, but there's no clues. Okay? You're gonna Google it, aren't you? Hasta la vista, baby. We'll be back soon. Good night, everybody. Pete C signing out. Over and out. I'm going to go and lay in the sun for a bit. There's still a few good hours of sunshine left. I'm off into garden. I've done all the garden as well. And my next door neighbour's helped. Neighbourly love. It's great. We'll see you soon. Night. TC. A little bit of TC, love. A little bit of TC. Will, TC, come on. Now the centre piece is here. I pinched something off it and I need to now come screw it back on. TC then. It did fire then. There you go. There you go. TC, ladies and gentlemen. Solid as a rock.